The First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Lewis Turner, and we are talking about a weather impact alert for you today. And you can see the line of showers and storms really beginning to pop. So much lightning with this. We have seen already this morning, been tracking this line, and we have seen some everything from the severe thunderstorm warnings, which you see in the kind of the orange shaded boxes. We've seen flash flood warnings with this, which you see in the green. And then those black boxes there indicate storm systems that the National Weather Service offices are watching very carefully for the potential of going severe here in the next 5-10 minutes or so, and even the tornadic activity possible with this line here. So just kind of looking at the front that is going to be making its way. This is the same line of showers and thunderstorms that has just been stagnant, stalled, essentially, slowly moving in our nation's heartland. And devastating flooding. We've seen the tornadoes. And really, if you look even west, so on your screen to the left of the actual storm system, and you see all those other green boxes there, that's highlighting bodies of water, rivers and streams and tributaries that are in flash flood warnings now because of just how much rain has been dumped in those bodies of water. So even behind this, folks will be dealing with problems for several days. Now for us, it's the line, as you see, thinning out, as has been the case with the last several of these fronts that we've tracked on weather impact alert days. And so while we will certainly have the potential for getting some thunderstorms later this afternoon and evening, even some severe weather this afternoon and evening, the rainfall totals don't look overly impressive, so I'm not overly concerned with extreme flooding, like you say the Ohio River Valley, parts of the Mississippi River Valley, Missouri River, and their tributaries. In fact, you just saw right there live a new tornado warning has popped up. I'm going to ask my dear friend Malcolm, who is running the ones and twos right now. If are we cool to switch sources over to the other computer? It'll allow me to drive a little bit better, and I can kind of zoom in and around and get into the nitty gritty of everything. But you can see, I mean, this just the last 2 hours worth of loop there. I'll kind of go back and show the bigger picture. And now this is very new information. We've got ourselves a severe thunderstorm watch for everything in that yellow box, and this is just coming in. So that's some new information sharing with you on this stream, and that will include some of our inland southeast Georgia counties. I'm seeing Ware and Pierce County within that severe thunderstorm watch, and certainly that's where we've got the greatest risk and the greatest threat of seeing some severe weather. And the reason for that is just all about the timing, the heat, the humidity of the day, right? So a lot of these showers and storms for many of us, especially south of I-10 and going towards Clay, St. Johns, Putnam, and Flagler counties, and South Duval, the sun's going to be going down. We're going to lose a little bit of that daytime heating, but now in the hottest part of our day, we're going to be in the mid and upper 80s, near 90 again. So where you get the heat and humidity, that's where you really get the fuel with these storms. So that big yellow polygon you see, that's highlighting severe thunderstorm warning, very, very likely, and that we'll get some of those 50, 60 mile and up winds in Ware and Pierce County. So Blackshear, Waycross, I'm thinking about you, and also even while not in that warned area, Lake City. So and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out there, as you can see already. We have a tornado warning. So let me kind of zoom in. This is an area that had a tornado warning near Eastman, Abbeville, Pitts, in Georgia. Now that has since expired. Zooming out, you can see the latest tornado warning there in the red box. That is just north of the Georgia and Florida border, north of Tallahassee, but really rolling up I-10. I'm focused certainly on that tornado warning, which is still very well west of Valdosta and Waycross. What concerns me and what I'm thinking about is just how frequent the lightning is. And where you see more and more lightning, those are the strongest of the thunderstorms, clearly. And that may be an obvious note, but it is a meteorological tool that we use. And we look at the cells that are producing more lightning as a strengthening cell, and the trend would be that it continues to strengthen as it moves east. And then you can also look at cells and see, all right, but over the last 15 to 30 minutes, it's producing less lightning, so it would tend to be trending towards a weaker storm. Jerry asking, and also those of you who are watching this on Facebook, I am monitoring the Facebook stream right now. I know this is on YouTube as well, but if you do have questions, hop on that Facebook stream, and I'm going to be answering those live for you. In fact, Jerry asked, is this storm going to stall out or break up before it comes here? Won't stall out. Break up is a term that it'll weaken. And so breakup is probably fair. But think about as the sun begins to go down with the timing, we lose heat, we lose a little bit of that daytime heating. It'll fall apart more or less. Though I will say we just need to have our First Coast News apps downloaded, alerts turned on with your location, and then you can get things sent directly to your phone or device if you are away from the TV or away from First Coast News Plus. So kind of zooming in and around the geography, looking ahead, still in Jacksonville right now. So if you look at the satellite overlay, so of course the radar is picking up the rain. We look at radar for rain and other what we call hydrometeors that would be coming out of the sky, and that could be hail as well, or even debris at times is picked up on radar. The satellite just shows us the cloud cover essentially, and if you look underneath that yellow box, you can see the clouds extending out almost to Valdosta now. But if you're anywhere east of Valdosta, east of 75, so that means Waycross, Blackshear, Folkston, Brunswick, Lake City, you're under essentially full sun. And with those strong south and southwest winds we're getting right now, it's going to continue to get hotter. It's going to continue to get more humid. Josh asking, what's the chance of rain in Jax Beach around 9 p.m. for a softball game? I'm going to show you that hour by hour here in just a minute, Josh. I do think there are going to be breaks in the rain. I had a friend here at First Coast News, in fact, who's got an 8 o'clock softball game, I think near Monument. And I'm telling you, I think it'll be less about the amount of rain you get on those fields and more about like lightning in the area. So thinking about that, 9 o'clock, though, is kind of that timing that we're looking at for Duval as a whole. So I want to show you your temperature map real quick and show you what we're dealing with. Heat, a main ingredient to get some of these strong thunderstorms. 80 in Waycross right now, pushing 80 in Jacksonville, and NAS Jack's already at 83 at Mayport. So I am going to go back. I do kind of want to hint on what we do like to show when we do these weather impact alert days. And I'm going to go through all this again, but 3 p.m. today to 3 a.m. That's not for everybody, that whole 12-hour period, but it's kind of that slide from west to east. So 3 p.m. will be our most western counties, so Ware, Pierce, Charlton, Brantley, then and Columbia County, certainly thinking about Lake City, and ultimately Baker County up the I-10 corridor. So we're watching that earlier, and then later for our more eastern counties, like towards eastern Glen down to Camden, Nassau, Duval, Clay, St. John's, Putnam, Flagler, and Bradford Union, not forgetting about you. But certainly the showers, the downpours, and a few strong to severe storms will be possible. I'll show you the risk that we're under here in a moment. And we got to use caution during the commutes. I'm really focused on that evening commute for a lot of us on those major interstates. And the outdoor plans like our softball games. There's a lot of folks for those Monday night softball games or kids' practices, things like that. So we'll be watching, Josh. I hope you can get it in. I know for a guy like me, I look forward to my outings, whether it's the golf or the softball. It's my one thing that I have that can still scratch that competitive itch. Hope you're still hitting it over the fence, Josh. So weather headlines, other than our weather impact alert, it's still a hot, humid day today. I know we do have temperature changes coming. Last week we were talking about how this week is going to be cooler, except for Monday. The rest of the week will be cooler. We'll talk about that. Showers and isolated thunder move in later this afternoon. Then cooler air does move in behind the front. So I've kind of shown you the line already. I wanted to zoom back a little bit, and you see that tornado warning there. Your temperatures. Another ingredient is our winds. Look at these winds. So steady winds, 15 to 20 coming out of the south and the southwest. Even out towards the Big Bend, you're getting 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts, and that's a little more foreshadowing. As the front gets closer, the pressure gradient tightens, and we get stronger winds and even higher gusts. That will feed the potential for some severe gusts coming out of these storms. So and when we say severe gusts, we get severe thunderstorm warnings 58 miles an hour and up. Your dew points are in that sticky to tropical range, all right? So we're getting up and over 70. We get dew points up and over 70 with these fronts approaching. Something you can also watch out on your weather app. We always like to post the dew point alongside the temperature. So when you are kind of being a meteorologist at home, take note of your dew points and note, especially when we have fronts coming, how much humidity is there. When you got dry air over Jacksonville, these fronts come in, they truly do fall apart. And we've seen that before in a couple of previous fronts. When you've got the humidity in place, it does add those ingredients. So big picture, what has been going on? So if you look out to the Atlantic Ocean, you see these concentric circles in that big sort of circle off a couple hundred miles off the Carolina coast. These are isobars, lines of equal pressure, and that is just big, strong, high pressure out in the Atlantic. And that high pressure has been our kind of lead blocker, if you will, in blocking showers, blocking storms, keeping us hot, keeping those tropical winds coming in for the last week. And that's why we've been up and around 90 with a record-breaking heat to start the month of April. But that front's about to change it all. In fact, high pressure finally weakening and moving more towards the east, allowing this front to cross into Jacksonville. Now, this particular computer model, I think, overdoing the widespread nature of the rain. I think our rainfall is going to be on a bit thinner of a line. I don't think we're going to get as much as this model is indicating, but you do note the timing. I think it does help with the pattern. Less so on the rainfall amounts, but more so on the pattern. So noticing through the 9:30 hour, the showers, and then clearing out before that morning commute Tuesday. So 3, 4 o'clock, most of the rain will have moved out and out of the 95 corridor. So as you drive around in the morning on Tuesday, should be doing well. Then that front crosses Tuesday. We're going to start that wind shift. So instead of the southwest winds that we've been getting, more out of the northwest, and that's going to cool us down. You're going to notice Tuesday afternoon highs are much, much cooler than the near 90 that we're going to get today and what we've had the last week or so. So cooler air is on the way if that's interesting to you. Let's go hour by hour. Let's look at the more granular. This is a higher resolution computer model. And this is more in line with what I think is the most likely scenario with our rainfall. So I highlighted 3 to 3. So Josh, Jerry, this is going to be important to you since you just asked that question. So I'm going to go over for you guys specifically, and then everybody else around the region. Take note. So hour by hour, that leading edge. Look at Waycross. Look at which is at Ware County, then Pierce County, just to the east and north of that. Leading edge of these showers and storms will be making that way. That's why we've highlighted 3 o'clock for that group. But look at 5. So we moved ahead a couple hours. Showers and storms still have not quite made it into northeast Florida or the 95 corridor yet. But I-10, we're watching you very carefully at this point, moving closer and closer to Lake City. This is the point of the day at 5 o'clock. You're going to notice even in Jacksonville, the winds are really picking up, the precursor to the front coming. But this is the time we'll be watching inland southeast Georgia for the potential for some severe weather, and we'll be on standby for that. About 6 to 7, I'm kind of zooming ahead hour by hour here. You'll notice 2 lines. So there's a preliminary line that's coming, the squall line, and then there's the prefrontal line, the secondary line that's coming through that you see back towards Tallahassee. That's a line that's going to come through Jacksonville a little bit later, probably around that 9 o'clock time frame. I'm less worried with severe there, maybe a few pops of lightning, but that's going to be after the sun's gone down and we've lost some daytime heating. So Lake City will be watching for the potential for severe weather between that 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock time frame. With this particular computer modeling, I tend to believe that's a pretty good, accurate time frame. Now, 8:30 to 9 o'clock. All right, Josh, here you go. Here's softball time. Those showers will be right there through Duval, through 295. And, of course, these models aren't precise down to the square mile, so give or take a few miles, certainly we could have some rain at the beaches. But notice kind of broken a bit and widely scattered there. Getting to that 9:30 time frame, that's when we could see some storms made it the way as far east as the beaches. Ponte Vedra, Green Cove, Clay County, and Putnam County. I'll be looking at you, and even northwest St. Johns County, but this will be after the sun goes down, so maybe we're losing a little bit of the pop with that. Secondary line now begins to come through, and this is why we've extended that weather impact alert through even 3 a.m. I think the good news with that is it is before the morning commute begins, but let's go through even 1 a.m. We're still probably hearing some boomers towards St. Augustine and St. Johns County, Clay County, Duval County certainly as well. And there you go. There's 3 a.m. Things are clearing out. And notice those wind barbs coming in pretty good from the northwest. So things get breezy out of the northwest as we wake up Tuesday morning. And you'll notice the temperature change then as well. So highlighted here from the Storm Prediction Center, this is your risk for severe weather. The yellow indicating a slight risk. So that is 2 out of 5 on the scale. That low risk we count kind of as a 0 when it comes to severe weather. Marginal is a 1. And slight, when you see highlighted in yellow, that's really when our spidey senses go up. The Storm Prediction Center is seeing the thermodynamics, the uplift, I should say, the buoyancy in the atmosphere necessary, heat, humidity, the ingredients to get those severe thunderstorms going. And that does include a good bit of counties in what we would call the First Coast. And we include Southeast Georgia in our First Coast. I know First Coast is a geographic reference to the First Coast of Florida, but we're First Coast News, and we absolutely include Ware, Pierce, Charlton, Brantley, Camden, and Glenn County within that. So kind of zooming in a bit to show you exactly, even that slight risk does include west side of Duval, includes a bit of Clay County, Union, Bradford, Baker, and Columbia, as well as all of Southeast Georgia. So everyone in that yellow shaded area needs to be aware of the potential to get some severe weather as we go through the late afternoon and early evening, and you kind of have it highlighted there. This particular graphic is coded for Jacksonville International Airport. So the 3 p.m. would be focused on our Southeast Georgia counties, but notice 7 to 11 where we've got those thunderstorm icons in. So let's watch that carefully with those gusty winds kicking in about 5 o'clock, but not before we get very close to the 90-degree mark yet again. All right, so the Monday front, I'm going to go county by county with you, just kind of get as elementary as possible with timing and the need for our weather impact today. So 3 to 11 for Ware, Brantley, and Pierce County. Let's be on the alert there for some showers, some isolated thunder, and potential for severe weather as you are in that slight risk for getting severe weather. Have your app alerts ready and raring to go. I think I'm going to emphasize that for every single county. In fact, I'll just kind of skip that verbiage from here on out. Just know that every single county should have at least the weather alert turned on, a way to get your severe weather notification sent to your device. Glenn, Camden, Charlton, and Nassau, of course, we're getting a little bit further east, so adjusting the timing a bit to 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., coming down to our friends in Lake City, Union, Bradford, and Baker County. 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. Let's watch out for some strong storms and within this thin line. Duval, I've got 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. And remember, at 3 a.m., because of that secondary line that's coming just ahead of the front. The rain is a little bit later than those folks that we'll see to our west, but certainly could get some thunder going. Clay, Putnam County, 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. is when I have you highlighted, showers and isolated thunder. And then we wrap up with our more southern counties, but St. John's, 8 to 4, and that same will include everyone for Flagler County as well. So morning commute still looking good. I'm going to wrap it up here one more time with your 7-day forecast with that weather impact alert for the Monday, second half and evening and overnight hours as well, with that thunderstorm potential. And near 90 degrees again today, hot and humid. But behind this front, let's get done with the front. And then we drop our rain chances again, and we usher in some much, much cooler air. You know, our morning lows have been in around 70 degrees, so we're going to be about 15 and even 20 degrees cooler in the mornings. Those morning lows are pretty important during the spring months. You know, during the summer, the morning low it doesn't matter. You're just walking out, you know it's going to be muggy, and we focus more on the afternoon highs, seeing how hot and humid it's going to be. In the springtime, our morning lows matter because we can get weeks like we had the last week where you don't need the layer in the morning, and then you get weeks like we'll have this coming week now that the front's crossed, where you could probably spend at least Wednesday, Thursday, maybe some areas, especially Wednesday, Thursday morning, could be in the upper 40s. You know, we forecast specifically for a point here on the 7-day for Jacksonville International, but you get further to the west and north, and you could certainly be waking up with those 40s, a little more mild at the beaches. And then the weekend, as we look way down deep into the weekend, cooler afternoon highs, actually kind of looking picture perfect. So let's get through this afternoon and evening. We'll have much more coming up. First Coast News at noon. I'll be your meteorologist there on air and streaming at First Coast News Plus, if that's your chosen method of getting your weather information. I love that. And we'll see you at 11:30 for First Coast Living as well. And then we'll have our evening crew ready and raring to go. I believe it's Ross and Tim that'll be speaking with you this afternoon, and they'll be the ones who are kind of in it, tracking that severe weather when it does pop. So we appreciate you joining. I appreciate the questions that we received. Shout out to Josh and Jerry. Hope you get your softball game in, and hope we answered that successfully for you. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll see y'all a little bit later on at the noon broadcast.
Now, the First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs. Now, the First Coast